Hello, welcome to Victoriana. It's the beginning of April, it's actually the 4th of April, and as you can see there's flurries of snow in the air. But I thought I'd start the April clip with a quick look at our arbour, which we talked about at the beginning of March. Well, here it is, or here's a bit of it. It's still on the floor in the woods. Obviously March has been a pretty crummy month weather-wise for I think everyone in the country. And that includes for Simon, who's building the arbour, and hence why it's still here in the woodland. So yeah, it's been a difficult month, March, but we're hoping for great things in April. The weather is set to break, so I'll give you a quick run around the nursery now. So, as I say, the front entrance looks pretty much as we left it at the beginning of the month. I haven't really had a chance to get on. And haven't thought about putting anything in. Obviously we've grown quite a few bits and pieces that are ready to go in. As soon as the weather turns we can get the area turned over and get everything in, and that goes for the rest of the flower area as well, which is all sitting there patiently and waiting. So progress as soon as we can, really. We did just about manage to get the bed sorted out in time for Easter. All the soft fruit is out here, a lot of the grapes, and of course fruit trees. We're still selling bare root trees because the weather is fine for that, though we have already started potting now. And of course we've already got a lot of veg plants out that are nice and hardened off, and as you can see they're taking the rough weather that they're getting. These are the plants that we're dispatching out, and actually this is the little frame that we have outside the greenhouse for coolers, with the netting to keep the pigeons off, because if it's not the weather, it's the pigeons that will have a go at them. Out on the veg garden, not an awful lot has happened actually. We've got some areas dug over, quite a lot of it's actually dug over and ready to spin over with the rotavator, but the weather hasn't quite been there. Obviously we've still got some leeks in over there, there's still some parsnips and some chard, and way over in the frame we've also got some sprouting and things like that, so still actually getting something to eat off the garden, which is good. But hopefully in the next week or so we can get some areas spun over, get some crops in. We need to get some Chinese artichokes in, and obviously start thinking about potatoes, but it'd be nice if this weather cheered up a bit before we did that. Up here in the top field, what will be the vineyard is pretty much as it was earlier. We've got most of the area cleared, but I think it'll be another month or so before we actually get round to being able to plant this. We've got a lot of potting to do and then a lot of lining out. Most of the vines that are going in here are actually plants that we've got potted on, so we don't need to worry about them being bare root or anything. So this is definitely a project we're going to get done this year, but I doubt if we're going to see round to it in April. Panning round to the bees, the bee man hasn't been in and he's more or less leaving the hives, doesn't want to go into them just yet. He's quite happy that everything will be all okay inside, but doesn't want to open them up with it being so cold at the moment. So we've still got the woodpecker covers on them, because we've still got a few woodpeckers around, and obviously they're probably getting hungry now. So yeah, won't be long before it's warming up and the bees are out and flying, and all things good. So up here in the top house, we've actually got one or two gaps appearing as crops go outside now. So we've got a nice fresh crop here of various bits and pieces that have come from heated space. They spend a week or two in here, where they just get a modicum of protection. We do ventilate in here, and this is cold glass obviously. Then it'll go outside, be covered, then it won't be uncovered, and then that's it. It has to fend for itself, which is what we do this time of year and do every year. So it's just really moving from one to t'other really. Also managed to get the grapes potted in the last couple of weeks, so these are grapes for the year ahead. They're staying here a little bit longer. They stay here until May. And we've also got some mulberries potted, and as I said, the boys are now working on potting up fruit trees, and we're starting to think about getting fruit trees back in the ground as well. So yeah, pretty busy month outside, and despite the weather we're getting on well. So as I said, We've been moving bits and pieces from the cold glass outside. Here are some more veg. We're a little bit later on in the day, and as you can see, we've had a bit more snow. These would be fine. These would be perfectly fine and happy. Happy is probably not the right word, but they'll be perfectly fine. They're fully hardened off, and like anything we send out, we always make sure it is hardened off before it goes. So yeah, it is more a case that this year we're having to cope with the weather, and just like everyone else really. So here in the heated house, it's all systems go. We're busy pricking out and moving crops from one to t'other, as I said. Here's a batch of brassicas that will be here for another couple of weeks before they go into the cold. Things like tomatoes and chilies, even though we do heat this, aren't enjoying the low light levels, but they still don't look too bad. We've got a nice batch of tomatoes along here that are nearly ready to go out to customers, and we'll probably let those go in a week or two's time. In the prop area itself, the beds are working flat out, all the heated beds are working flat out, and we're still covering a lot of the time just to give that extra warmth. But what we're really struggling with in here is the low light levels. It's making some things very difficult and making things a little bit elongated, seedlings, etc. So it's not the easiest of years, or not thus far, but sure, it will all come right. It's got to in the end. It's just a matter of staying positive, which we are, and keeping busy, which we certainly are. So that's it really for April, and we'll catch up with you probably at the beginning of May.